Hey there, welcome back to High Infidelity, the best channel for cheating stories. Like and subscribe to channel for more spicy stories. Now, let's get into today's story video. Moving on from a betrayal most foul, long but worthwhile read, I've been told. Moving on from a betrayal most foul, long but worthwhile read, I've been told. In 2004, I was young, naive, and hopelessly in love with my ex-fiancée. We were together for 4 years until she ended up in a mental institution. She was everything to me, and our child was much more important to me. You're most likely thinking about the next 4 years. So, I've had enough time to move on. I'm mostly over it, but I do get a little nostalgic around significant anniversaries from that relationship, such as the day we moved in together, which was yesterday. Please accept my apologies in advance for what is likely to be a long piece. I will make every effort to keep it concise. I was in school when we met, on my way to getting a PhD, and we were shocked to learn she was expecting our child. Being the wonderful young man that I was, I assured her that I supported whatever decision she made. This was a lie. But I was certain that termination would be best for us because she hadn't begun her nursing program yet, and with both of us being in demanding schools, we wouldn't be able to complete our educations. It was exhausting trying everything: reasoning, empathy, and even having my elder sister attempt to convince her to terminate the pregnancy. Hindsight, this was all not the best way to go about it. Initially, I opted to end my relationship with her as a kind of intimidation during a prolonged time of weakness. All of this occurred because my parents were unaware that I was dating, and as a young man who terrified his mother's pain and fury, I was completely out of my mind. The news is brought to my parents' attention after 7 months, and after another 3 months, I move out of my parents' house and into the home of my girlfriend. 2 months after that, our daughter is born. Our inability to succeed while maintaining our father, boyfriend, and student lifestyles was predetermined, as I have said. After 2 years of living this lifestyle, I failed to get a bachelor's degree. I tell her that she should return home and get more assistance from her mother, who lives 2 hours away, in order for us to achieve academic success. This is where I get a job to assist them out financially while I finish my studies at the university. While they were down in Florida, I made a promise to myself to pay them a visit at least once a month and on every holiday. The strangeness began to creep in while I was doing the LDR. Rumors began to go among my friends and family that she was bringing men into and out of the house on a regular basis. When I approached her, she flatly denied all of my allegations. I went forward with it. Her brother alerted me that she was attending a party with a male classmate, and I was able to catch her in the act one day when she said she was at her best friend's house. Consequently, since I had the day off, I traveled down to her house and tried to wait for her there. Her mother had heard that I was coming and had gone home to shower before seeing me in. Following a couple more events similar to this one, the straw that broke the camel's back was as follows. It's Christmas, and our daughter is now 3 years old. I proposed to her in February, and we're set to marry in 3 months. I see she's been chuckling noisily at messages she's received on her phone. My suspicion is moderate, but I'm going to try to get through the holiday and deal with it afterwards. During our Christmas party, she becomes blackout drunk and accuses me of not trusting her, which comes as a surprise since I hadn't mentioned anything to her in over 4 months. She blacks out immediately after. I bring her to bed and realize her phone is still blowing up. Given that she had her iPhone configured to show messages even when it was locked, I couldn't help but notice that this message was from a male buddy she often mentioned. "Baby, I miss you so terribly," he says. I'm furious at this point, so I try to emulate her and see what I can get out of him. Me as her: "I miss you as well." Him: "Is your boyfriend still sleeping? I'd want to come through." Me: "He's going to go to bed. You have around 40 minutes. To cut a long tale short, he never arrived, and after a furious argument with her brother that same night, I discovered she was, at least, a local police officer who mistook me for her deceased son. My name is tattooed on her, and that's the narrative she would tell. I don't sleep that night, and when she comes in, I quiz her about the previous night's events. She becomes defensive when I look through her phone, but she responds, "It was all a trap to see if you would go through my phone." I didn't accept it as an answer at first, but in a foolish effort to believe everything, I finally did. Fast forward a year, and we're not married due to a last-minute gut feeling. Another horrible sensation comes over me one day as I reflect on the past, and the feeling tells me that I should find out whether my kid is biologically mine. After coercing the girlfriend into agreeing to a test, she admits that there's a possibility I'm not the father. After 3 difficult weeks, it is revealed that the kid is not mine. After much deliberation, I realize I can't take it any longer and inform her that I'll begin the process of removing myself from their life altogether. After our breakup, she asked that I not see anybody for a time, which I told her she had no right to do, but that was my plan anyway. She admits that she intends to do the same. I learned through her relatives that she is pregnant with her second kid 4 months later and marries the father of that child 3 months later. This makes me quite happy, particularly because I discovered that the person and I had a striking likeness. I'm now in a nice relationship and have another degree, but I still find myself allowing the above tale knock me down on a regular basis, almost as if it governs my life at times. I have trust difficulties that I'm working to overcome since my current girlfriend is not like my previous fiancé. I'm praying that one day this will all be a memory. Final words. I have a minor concern that my ex-not daughter would seek me out one day since she is still being taught that I am her father and that I abandoned her. Words from her aunt, to whom I am close. Story 2. Just found out my wife is having an emotional affair. Background. My husband and I have been married for about 20 years, and we have 3 young children. Today, I came upon a text conversation between my wife and an old coworker that had potentially life-altering consequences. She was undoubtedly involved in an emotional relationship that she was striving to turn into a physical one. It's obvious that she's the one who's issuing the invitation to meet with this gentleman. I also noticed that they were trading photographs with one another on the social media platform Instagram. I've had a long-term relationship with my wife as my exclusive partner, and we've been quite happy together. I work really hard to ensure that she understands how much I adore her and am always on the move to provide her with anything she needs, but she hasn't responded to me in a long time. Although I have tremendous desire, she has poor drive. She admitted to me that her passion for me has been waning for quite some time. I can't imagine my life without her. She has always been and will continue to be everything to me. No idea how I'm going to get through this or how I'm going to regain my confidence in her again. When I read the notes, it seems like they were written by someone altogether else, and when I look at her, I just cannot make the connection between the two. I'm speechless because I'm so outraged, astonished, disappointed, humiliated, and regretful that I don't know what to say. This is something I could never have anticipated in my life. While she won't even provide me with photographs, it seems that she is sending photos to this guy of lingerie that she purchased for me as a gift for Christmas. She started doing this around 3 months ago, just around the time I obtained a new job, which meant she wouldn't have to work anymore. She has my whole faith, and I want to believe her when she says that this has never happened before and that she is anxious to correct the problem. I can't seem to locate any ray of hope at this point in my life. She claimed to have spoken with him over the phone and that everything was fixed as of today, when I learned the truth. I'm in desperate need of aid, support, and whatever else that may be made available to me. By my life, I've never felt more alone than I do right now. In the meanwhile, I worked ceaselessly while she chased her goals and did whatever she liked. I feel completely abused, degraded, and unworthy of being alive. I'm not suicidal, but I'd be quite content to die right now if I had to. I'm unable to face my children in the eyes